The Senate will come to order. Senator Marble will lead us in the pledge.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Senate. Good morning, staff, and welcome all visitors. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgartner, Brophy, Cadman, Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpin, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro, Roberts, Rivera, Sheffel, Schwartz, Stedman, Tocktrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger. Madam President.
Here. With 35 present, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal, Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal of February 6th and approve the journal as corrected by the Secretary.
All right, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. That motion is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I would ask for a moment of personal privilege for Senator Kerr.
The motion is to grant Senator Kerr a moment of personal privilege out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Kerr is granted a moment of personal privilege out of order. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, colleagues. Just wanted to announce to you, in case you have not heard, that our former colleague in the House, Ken Summers, is visiting today. He did the prayer over in the House. He's not just visiting, he's down here working. He has a task force that he's going to in a little bit. I believe he'll be over in the House for a little bit longer, so if you have a moment to slip away and go say hi to him, it's great to see him. He's doing great, and I just wanted to let you know. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Committee reports.
February 6, 2014, Committee on Finance. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 2 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. February 6, 2014, Committee on Finance. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 54 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation to be placed on the consent calendar. February 6, 2014, Committee on Health and Human Services. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 130 be amended as follows and as so amended be referred to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation.
Senate.
February 6, 2014, Committee on Health and Human Services. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 122 be postponed indefinitely. February 6, 2014, Committee on Health and Human Services. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 87 be amended as follows and as so amended before the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. February 6, 2014, Committee on Health and Human Services. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following House Bill 1053 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 21 be amended as follows. And also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 27 be amended as follows. And also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends following Senate Bill 30 be amended as follows. And also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 36 be amended as follows. And also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 41 be amended as follows. And also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 62 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 104 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation to be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 105 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation to be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 106 be amended as follows and as amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 107 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 108 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 109 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation that be placed on the consent calendar. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 110 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 7, 2014, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following Senate Bill 120 be referred to the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar.
Senate Services.
February 7, 2014, correctly printed Senate Bill 141, correctly re-engrossed Senate Bills 39 and 58.
Message from the House.
February 6, 2014, Madam President, the House has passed on third reading and transmitted the advisory statutes House Bill 1052 as amended, House Bill 1146 as amended.
Message from the Reviser.
February 6, 2014, we herewith transmit without comment as amended House Bills 1052 and 1146.
Introduction of resolutions. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 8?
Senate Joint Resolution 8 by Senators Cadman and Carroll and Representative McNulty concerning Purple Star veterans and families and the establishment of the Homecoming Preparedness Program in the Department of Defense.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that SJR 8 lay over until Thursday, February 13th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. SJR 8 will lay over till Thursday, February 13th. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 9?
Senate Joint Resolution 9 by Senators Robertson, Nicholson, and Representative Exum concerning the Colorado National Guard and in connection therewith honoring Guard members for their firefighting efforts.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that SJR 9 lay over until Tuesday, February 25th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. SJR 9 will lay over till Tuesday, February 25th. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 10?
Senate Joint Resolution 10 by Senator Guzman and Representative Kagan concerning requesting the Chief Justice of the Colorado Supreme Court to take certain actions concerning adjudication of juvenile delinquency petitions.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that SJR 10 lay over until Monday, April 7th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. SJR 10 will lay over till Monday, April 7th. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Joint Resolution 1002?
House Joint Resolution 1002 by Representative Quorum and Senator Schwartz concerning a special exemption from interstate highway weight limits for divisible truckloads carrying forest products.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HJR 1002 lay over until Tuesday, February 18th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. HJR 1002 will lay over till Tuesday, February 18th. Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 142 by Senator Schwartz and Representative Fisher concerning an exception for certain water system facilities from the facilities that the Commissioner of Agriculture has a duty to inspect regarding pesticide storage.
Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy.
Senate Bill 143 by Senator Stedman and Representatives May and Giroux concerning payment of amounts awarded through nursing facility provider reimbursement appeals from the Medicaid Nursing Facility Cash Fund.
Health and Human Services. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we proceed out of order for the purposes of considering Senate Joint Resolution 7.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. We'll proceed out of order to take up SJR 7. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 7?
Senate Joint Resolution 7 by Senator Aguilar and Representatives Hollinghorse and Zabel concerning awareness of heart disease and in connection therewith declaring February 7th, 2014 as National Wear Red Day.
Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 7 and ask that it be read at length.
Whereas heart disease is the #1 killer of women and accounts for 1 out of 3 women's deaths each year, killing approximately 1 woman every minute. And whereas there are currently an estimated 43 million women in the United States living with heart disease, yet only 1 in 5 women believes that heart disease is her greatest health threat. And whereas heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the world and kills more women than all forms of cancer, but it often goes undiagnosed. And whereas 90% of women have 1 or more risk factors for developing heart disease. And whereas women comprise only 24% of participants in all heart-related studies. And whereas since 1984, more women than men have died each year from heart disease, and the gap between men's and women's survival rates continues to widen. And whereas women are less likely to call 911 for themselves when experiencing symptoms of a heart attack than they are if someone else has a heart attack. And whereas Go Red for Women is the American Heart Association's national call to increase awareness about heart disease and to inspire women to take charge of their heart health. And whereas the AHA's Go Red for Women movement has been helping to improve the health of women for over 10 years, saving the lives of over 627,000 women and decreasing fatalities among women by 34%. And whereas by increasing awareness, speaking up about heart disease, and empowering women to reduce their risk for heart disease, we could save thousands of lives each year. And whereas in celebration of the 10th anniversary of National Wear Red Day, Go Red for Women is asking all women across America to go red. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 69th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the General Assembly, in recognition of the importance of the ongoing fight against heart disease and stroke, declare Friday, February 7th, 2014 to be National Wear Red Day and urge all citizens to show their support for women in the fight against heart disease by wearing the color red, and encourage all women to go red. Get your numbers by asking your doctor to check your blood pressure and cholesterol. Own your lifestyle by exercising, eating healthy, and not smoking. Realize your risk by being aware of how heart disease affects women. Educate your family by discussing and making healthy food choices for you and your family. And don't be silent. Tell women in your life that heart disease is their #1 killer. Raise your voice at goredforwomen.org. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to the Denver and Colorado Springs chapters of the American Heart Association.
Thank you. Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, thank you so much for allowing us to read this resolution at length, not that I gave you a choice. But I did want to point out that we have in our audience 4 physicians who are here to check your blood pressure. If the 4 of you would stand up. You know, blood pressure is probably the most easily treated and certainly the most evidence-based cause of coronary artery disease. And on your desk, you have some paperwork about blood pressure and a place to write down your blood pressure, and these 4 young doctors are happy to check that for you. Probably the only risk factor more preventable and more important than high blood pressure is smoking. And if any of you are still smokers, I'd encourage you to call our 1-800-QUIT line in the state of Colorado, which will give you resources to help you quit smoking. There are other risk factors that are harder to work on, including if you have a high cholesterol. Often that's genetic, and it does sometimes require taking medication, although obviously, deferring to Senator Guzman, a low trans fat diet will help you as well. And the benefits of exercise cannot be overstated. Exercise has been proven not only to decrease your risk for heart disease, but to also decrease your risk for dementia. And so there are a lot of great benefits from exercise. And with that, Madam President, I ask for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 1407.
Thank you, Senator Aguilar. Is there any other discussion on Senate Joint Resolution 7? Seeing none, the question for the body is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 7. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 7 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Aguilar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the current roll call be added as co-sponsors to Senate Joint Resolution 7.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the present roll call will be added as co-sponsors to Senate Joint Resolution 7. General orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Kerr. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you. I have been asked if we would suspend the rules to allow the gentlemen to take their jackets off to have their blood pressure checked, and so with that, I would move such a request.
The coat rule will be relaxed. Senator Kerr. You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a committee of the whole for purposes of considering general orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Kerr will take the chair.
I guess I don't need to relax the coat rule.
I guess not.
The committee will come to order and the coat rule continues to be relaxed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to all the bills on the general orders, second reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 24 by Senator Togtrop and Representative Sain concerning the responsibilities of certain entities in managing volunteer firefighter pension plans that are affiliated with the Fire and Police Pension Association. Senate Bill 83 by Senator Crowder and Representative Ferrandino concerning reimbursement to be paid by a county to the state for costs incurred by the state in connection with the reappraisal of property in the county. Senate Bill 102 by Senator Ulibarri concerning the addition of employment positions held at financial institutions to the circumstances under which an employer may use consumer credit information for employment purposes.
Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the adoption of all the bills on general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, including Senate Bills 24, 83, and 102.
Is there any discussion? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills on the consent calendar are adopted. Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
Motion is for the body to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report. I didn't even hit it then. It's broken.
Check his blood pressure now. Check his blood pressure now.
I move Sunny die.
Max. Sorry I broke your gavel. We should go get Mark's.
Give him the what for, Senator.
His bedazzled gavel.
The Senate will come back to order. Little gavel. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. Perhaps my last official motion as a senator after that. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
February 7, 2014, Madam President, your committee, the whole executive report is out of consideration of the following tax bills being second reading thereof, makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 24, 83, and 102 passed on second reading in order and gross placed on the counter for third reading and final passage.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the report.
Is there any discussion on the committee of the whole report? Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 24, Senate Bill 83, Senate Bill 102 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders, second reading of bills. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate resolve itself into committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills. Second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a committee of the whole for purpose of considering general orders, second reading of bills. Senator Kerr will take the chair, but maybe not the gavel.
Very softly. The committee will come to order, and of course, the coat rule is still relaxed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 98?
Senate Bill 98 by Senator Zenzinger and Representatives Foote and Schaefer concerning clarifications to statutory language on crimes against at-risk elders.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 98 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the Judiciary Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Judiciary Committee report had one small clarification where we amended the bill to add the word anything of value to substitute some redundant language.
Is there...
And I ask for its adoption.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the Judiciary Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Judiciary Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Zenzinger. And we do have an amendment on the floor. Mr. Majors, you could please read L003.
Amendment L003 by Senator Zenzinger, amend printed bill page 3, line 8, after she insert knowingly.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the adoption of Amendment L003. It merely adds the word knowingly, which helps address an issue of mens rea. This was a productive conversation that we all agreed to, and I move for the adoption.
Is there any further discussion on L003? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of L003. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The L003 is adopted. To the bill, Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of the bill really is just to remove some ambiguous and subjective language from the Crimes Against At-Risk Adults statute concerning elders. We had a really good productive conversation in committee where we received unanimous support, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 98? Senator Lundberg.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I supported this bill coming out of committee, and I wanted to explain a couple of things. One is, with all due respect, I would suggest that the bill is actually taking another step in establishing the crime of elder abuse by making it the crime at a felony level if it involves more than $500 of value that an elder has been really defrauded out of in some form or another, rather than the current law, which simply refers you over to the theft portion of criminal law. And that disconnect has really prevented some legitimate cases of elder abuse from being prosecuted. And the other reason I stand up and tell you why I supported this bill is for those of you who were with us last year, you know, when the elder abuse, was it last year or the year before? Yeah, the elder abuse mandatory reporting bill was something I adamantly opposed, and I still do. I still think that's a big mistake that is going to have a lot of unintended consequence. But this bill clarifies what the crime is. And it, in my opinion, is where we should have gone in the first place. So I support Senate Bill 98, where we're at right now, and do urge its adoption. And I guess I'll save the battle on the mandatory reporting for another day, but beware, it will come back to haunt us. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Senator Herpin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For over 25 years, I've been a volunteer with the Colorado Springs Police Department's Senior Victim Assistance Team, where we provide resources to a senior victim of crime or accident. Elder abuse is one of the more distressing things that we are called in to help seniors with, and so anything we can do to help protect our seniors, I'm in favor of. So I support this bill.
Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 98? Seeing none, Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, you know, one thing I regret about this bill is we're right on seconds, and we're not able to recognize people in the audience at this point, even the Rocky Mountain Preparatory School up in the gallery. So I just wanted to say that's the only thing I regret about this bill right now.
Very clever. Thank you, Senator Lambert. Is there any other discussion that is not identifying schools in the gallery? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senator Zenzinger's very first bill, Senate Bill 98. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no? No! Senate Bill 98 is lost. Mr. Majors, please read the title to Senate Bill 31.
Senate Bill 31 by Senator Toctrop and Representative Rosenthal concerning modifications to the administration of old hire police officers and firefighters pension plans.
Senator Toctrop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I move Senate Bill 31, which came out of the FPPA interim committee, and I do believe we do have an amendment. But while they're looking at the amendment, I'll just give some quick rundown on what the bill does. It modifies the authority to purchase annuities, to wind down the old HARP plan, repeals sections of the statute that implements state assistance to old HARP plans, and an end-level dollar employee contributions for state-assisted plans, which began in 1994. And beginning in 2015, it requires that contributions be made in an amount determined as required by the plan's actuary. Clarifies that the amortization period for all HARP plans not fully funded do not exceed the lesser of 20 years or the number of years equal to the average remaining life expectancy of the pension fund members, and it enumerates the responsibilities of the FPPA and of the participating departments with regard to the administration and management of the Ohio pension plans affiliated with FPPA.
There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Majors, would you please read Amendment L002?
Amendment L002, Senate Bill 31 by Senator Rivera.
Senator Rivera.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment 002 on Bill 03, Senate Bill 31. As Senator Toctrop mentioned or stated, the bill actually allowed the state to pay off their obligation to the Fire Police Protective Association's pension. However, this resulted in a problem for municipalities who have still had outstanding liabilities or unfunded liabilities. In order to make it possible for these municipalities to adjust their budgets and account for those the changes in amount they were going to have to fund, which in Pueblo was over $1 million. It was requested an amendment be brought to allow for those payments to be deferred for at least a year so that these could be budgeted in their annual budget appropriations. And there was no objection to the amendment coming forward from any of the parties that were involved, the municipal leagues, the FPPA, and so on. So I would ask that this amendment be approved.
Senator Toktrop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I ask for the adoption of L002, and I move for the adoption of SB 31 on second reading.
Is there any further discussion on L002? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of L002. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. L002 is adopted. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 31? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 31. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no. The aye has it. Senate Bill 31 is adopted. Mr. Majors, please read the title to Senate Bill 89.
Senate Bill 89 by Senator Schwartz and Representative Fisher concerning a prohibition for the state to enter into an agreement for repayment in lieu of taxes.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 89, and I move the Finance Committee report.
To the Finance Committee report.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think the Finance Committee report was very helpful to the bill. It simply narrowed the scope of the bill and brought it to narrowly define the state as the only entity that's affected by the bill, and also allowed for forms of PILT compensation through other agreements and MOUs to mitigate any impacts it might have to local governments.
Is there any further discussion on the Finance Committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Finance Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is a fairly simple, narrow bill, especially with the amendment from the committee. But what it does is it protects the state of Colorado from an erosion of its tax-exempt status. It only prohibits contractually obligating the state to pay a tax. It doesn't, for example, in Department of Natural Resources, if we were to take fee title property, we can mitigate any local revenue loss that may be occurred locally, but it is the contractual obligation. It's a very narrow definition of contractually obligating the state to a local tax because we are a state exempt entity. And this exemption of our tax, being obligated for tax, has been slightly eroded by a recent contract by the state to obligate itself to local taxes. Yet there are other opportunities to mitigate those impacts, and those in fact are protected with the language that was in the amendment. And so the bill was narrow, and it was again passed unanimously out of Capital Development Committee, really kind of plugging a hole that we didn't want to see this becoming a slippery slope where every opportunity to have the state contractually obligate itself to taxes now could be potentially gone after by other parties. So we can still mitigate our impacts. It's not a cost to local government, and it does, again, just shore up the tax exempt status of the state.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, colleagues. I heard this bill in committee, and it was highly partisan. I expect maybe fisticuffs here later on with Senator Schwartz. No, I think it's not the biggest deal. I just want to explain why I voted against this. I'm a little bit concerned. We spent a lot of time up here talking about tools in the toolbox, giving opportunities, expanding chances to deal, and especially when it comes to state working with local governments, I will always side with local governments. I'd like to see as much local control as possible. And my concern on this bill is this takes away one of the tools in the toolbox, allowing within the contract between a state buying property and a local community, allowing to make sure that local community has long-term needs taken care of. It doesn't, currently we don't have anything that requires this, but by taking this tool off the table, unfortunately it seems to me that we are tilting the scales a little bit more in favor of the state rather than in the local communities in making these contracts. So because of those concerns and because of not seeing anything that's necessarily broken about the current process, I voted no. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 89? Senator Baumgardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we heard this bill in committee in CDC, and I did have some issues, and I spoke to Senator Schwartz about it, and with the way she amended the bill to make sure that these things were looked at and that the states, the way they're taxed, and how we're protected as a state agent or entity. It answered my questions anyway, and I support the bill.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 89? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 89. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 89 is adopted. Majority Leader Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
Motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report. I didn't break it. I didn't break this one. Yeah.
Thank you. The Senate will come back to order. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I didn't break the gavel this time, and the committee has met and had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Majors, would you please read the report?
February 7, 2014, Madam President, your committee of the whole banks reports that in consideration of the following attached bills being the second reading thereof, makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 31 as amended, Senate Bill 89 as amended, passed on second reading in order, gross placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 98 as amended, lost on second reading.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of the committee of the whole report.
I believe there is an amendment on the desk. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you,
Oh, excuse me for just a moment. Mr. Majors, would you please read Committee of the Whole Amendment 1?
Committee of the Whole Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 98.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Zenzinger amendment to the report of the Committee of the Whole.
That is a proper motion, Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to show that Senate Bill 98 as amended did pass.
Is there any discussion on the Zenzinger amendment to the Committee of the Whole? Senator Studman.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, I was present and voting when we considered this bill, and the chair was not in doubt. It was not even close. I mean, if you were here in the room, and I think most of you were, the no was resounding. It echoed off the walls of the chamber. I think this proposed amendment is really revisionist history, and we ought to think very long and hard about our vote on this question.
Mr. Maine, let Senator Rivera. You guys decide between yourselves. Senator Rivera.
Thank you, Madam President. As I again remember, the amendment, in fact, the bill was killed and it was done deal. In fact, I think the gavel was broken on that particular one, so I don't see any reason to reconsider.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. As I recall, I came down and supported the bill, and I was certain that that must have been why the bill was defeated. And facts are facts.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, President Carroll. I just wanted to share with the good senator from District 31 that that's what it's like to be in the minority.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President. As the chair at the time, I was very carefully listening. However, I had a ringing in my ears from a broken gavel. Or I'm not sure if the ringing was from the gavel breaking or from the president telling me what she thought of me breaking her gavel. So I could have been mistaken. I'm not saying I was, but I could have been mistaken on this one. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt to Senator Zenzinger.
The question before the body is the adoption of the Zenzinger amendment to the committee of the whole. Are there any no votes on the amendment? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the Zenzinger amendment to the committee of the whole is adopted. The motion before the body is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 98 is amended. Senate Bill 31 is amended. Senate Bill 89 is amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Signing of bills.
February 6, 2014, the President signed House Bill 1019, House Joint Resolutions 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008.
Message from the Governor.
February 6, 2014, to the Honorable Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon me by the constitutional laws of the state of Colorado, I have the honor of designating appointments for major consideration the following member of the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System for a term expiring December 31st, 2017. Jane Robe Rhodes of Pueblo West, Colorado, to serve as a Republican appointed. Sincerely, John W. Hickenlooper, Governor.
Committee reports.
February 6, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy is that under consideration as that hearing on the following appointments recommended appointment be confirmed. Member of the Colorado Wildlife Habitat Stamp Committee, effective December 31st, 2013, for a term expiring December 31st, 2017. Patricia Dorsey of Bayfield, Colorado, representative of the Division of Parks and Wildlife, who is also a wildlife biologist, appointed. February 6, 2014, Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following Senate Joint Resolution 4 be referred to the Senate for final action. February 6, 2014, Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following Senate Bill 17 be amended as follows, and that's no amendment before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. February 6, 2014, Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following Senate Bill 72 be postponed indefinitely.
Announcements. Senator Scheffel.
Thank you, Madam President. May I have a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
Thank you, colleagues. I am always amazed at the caliber and depth of folks that grace our presence by visiting this place and coming on to our floor, and today is no exception. I'm happy to welcome onto the floor today one Mark Hall from Parker, Colorado, his wife Denise, and sister Kim Hall. They're special with us today because Mark is the only American to help run the Winter Olympic Torch, which I have with me. Does anybody have a lighter? Mark is the only American chosen by his company Visa to run the Olympic Torch. He did the, thank you, Senator Cadman. State Patrol already told me I can't do that. I tried. He was the only American chosen by Visa to carry the Olympic torch in St. Petersburg. It's a really remarkable, if you spend some time chatting with Mark, you'll get to answer all your questions. I know mine was, what you're all thinking, what happens if the torch goes out? And interestingly enough, not some bystander just doesn't come up with a big lighter and fix it. There's actually a truck that follows Mark along that has an official backup to the torch all the way from Greece that follows him along and all the other runners. And so it's very special. We are indeed honored to have an American of Mark's caliber and his family here visiting us. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating Mark Hall. Madam President, I have taken the liberty of putting together a tribute that reads, "Congratulations, Mark, on being chosen to carry the Winter Olympic torch on behalf of Visa to St. Petersburg, Russia. Reading your interview on your run in Russia was inspiring, as it was your lifelong dedication to the Olympics. Your representation of Colorado and America as a whole found it encouraging and was proud to know that you reside in my district, Parker, Colorado. Congratulations again, and thank you all, colleagues." If you want to take a minute, Mark has got, I'm going to give him his torch back so you can take pictures with him, and he's got some great stories about running with the torch in St. Petersburg. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, on the Olympics, on that note, unfortunately yesterday, Vail Zone Heidi closure crashed on the first run and tore her ACL. And I can't imagine what that's just in a practice run before she even did a preliminary run. And she'd just done a backflip off the first jump, which tells you kind of what and it's a 30-degree slope. Go try skiing that. It's like Mach 1 at Breckenridge, if you've ever looked down that run. So it's pretty sad. She asked her parents afterwards if she was still an Olympian, and I think she very much is one, and she'll be marching tonight, hopefully, and we might see her on crutches, unfortunately. But she's 21, so I'm hoping she's coming back. The other interesting thing you might check out if you watch the Moguls competition, there's a U.S. judge there, and he happens to be a pharmacist in Erie, and an old friend of mine who actually was a coach of mine a long time ago. And he does the judging there and gets yelled at for it probably, but you'll see the 5 flags down below and the countries represented, and he's the one person making that call. So that's just another tie to Colorado. And it's pretty exciting to watch the Olympics.
Senator Baumgartner.
Thank you, Madam President. I ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. I heard this morning, I was told this morning that one of my constituents from Steamboat by the name of Todd Lodwick will be carrying the flag tonight for the USA team at the Olympics. Todd is the first American to compete in 6 Winter Olympics. He's a silver medal winner in 2010, and he's competing in the combined Nordic. So let's keep those guys in our thoughts, and good luck to you, Todd. Thank you.
Senator Schwartz.
And thank you, Madam President. I just also wanted to mention, I asked for a flag to be flown on top of the Capitol the first day of the session. That flag has now accompanied our Olympic athletes from Colorado to Sochi, and I think they will proudly display it because we have a lot to be proud of as a state, and we are all wishing them the best at the Olympics.
Other announcements, Senator Johnston.
Just while we're on it, I think people may have seen this in the news, but Colorado has 19 Olympians competing in the Olympics in the next 2 weeks. The only state with more Olympians than Colorado is California, who has 20. They have 10 times the population of Colorado, and they have 1 more Olympian than us. So we have, per capita, dominate all of the United States on Olympians. Most importantly, I've done a lot of searching, and so far the total number of Olympians I can find from Seattle is 0. Just saying.
Senator Toktrop.
Thank you, Madam President. And you all have this invitation concerning the Colorado Sportsman's Caucus on your desk. If you're interested in joining, please sign it. And I know that Representative Wilson said you could bring it over to him, but just leave the applications on my desk, and I hope you join. Also, the Sportsman's Caucus is planning on having another caucus shoot this April, and I hope everybody can come to that to compete in skeet and trap. Thank you.
Senator Herbert.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm proud to announce that Senate District 11 is the home of the U.S. Olympic Committee and the Olympic Training Center, and I wish our Olympic athletes well in the upcoming ongoing Olympics. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Looks like there's the JBC team in uniform. Senators Lambert, Hodge, and Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. Everybody seems to be asking what day it is today.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Since the Joint Budget Committee has been meeting since November 7th, we just wanted to announce that we are halfway through our session. This is JBC Hump Day, and we're actually in appropriations. We got a whole bunch of JBC bills through this morning, 14 bills total in 21 minutes. So we were on a roll, and we're going to get through the rest of the session. So happy Hump Day.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, President Carroll. I would request that the JBC be given immediate mental and physical health vacations, paid leave, at least 6 weeks.
We're not going to pay for it. Unpaid. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a moment of personal privilege myself.
Granted.
Thanks. I'm just going to brag a minute. Both my wife and our youngest son had the chance to carry the Olympic torch, and I know from just that personal experience what it meant to you, and it's just the very, very best. So congratulations to you. So thank you, Madam President. With that, just a reminder, upon adjournment, IT will be offering some iPad training in Senate Committee Room 356, so if you have any questions on the iLegislate app or if you need any software upgrades, they will be available from 10 until 2, so it's 10:30 now, so you still have an hour and a half. And with that, I have no other announcements, and so, Madam President, I would move that the Senate adjourn till 10 o'clock. Did you have something, Senator Rivera?
Looks like Senator Rivera has an announcement.
Thank you, Madam President. Any senators that would like to, I have a group photo right over here in the corner. It's my granddaughter's birthday today. I'd like to wish her happy birthday from the Senate. So if anybody would like to be in the picture, just step on over to the corner. Thank you.
Yay, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, I think the motion was to adjourn till 10 a.m. Monday, February 10th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will adjourn until 10 a.m. Monday, February 10th.
I don't know. I got it.